Hello and welcome. Thank you so much for tuning into another episode of One of a Kind You. And we have a special guest with us. She's my new best friend. Her name is Rachel Garrett. And we decided that we're going to take the train and meet halfway in New York City this summer.
Amen. Yes, ma'am. We are.
Because we're only two
Yes.
and a half hours away from New York City each direction. So why not? And
Duh.
but this is actually not the first time Rachel and I chatted, so it's like actually really not that creepy that we just decided that we're instant best friends because she was so kind and she had me on her podcast, which is called the Spiritual Spotlight series. And we had such an amazing time chatting then about spiritual journeys and different healing modalities. And we just have a lot in common. And so I was like, well, then you were so nice to have me on your podcast. And I had such a great time. So now you have to come on my podcast so that we can have a great time on my podcast too. And so today's the day. And so, yeah, so Rachel Garrett, she is a podcast host. Like I said, the Spotlight's a spiritual spotlight series. And we've been chatting for quite some time before we actually hit record. So at this point, I think my face is like so numb from laughing and smiling so much. But she too had a spiritual healing journey that wasn't really something that she had planned. And she is also an energy healer and offers a variety of healing modalities. And so I'm actually just going to let Rachel take it away and fill in the gaps that I left behind.
Why, thank you, Kim. You're the best, bestie. Yes, my name is Rachel. I'm a registered nurse and I am a spiritual healer. I will say that, I guess, do you want me to talk about like my journey or what I like to do? So my vibe is I'm really, I love the Akashic records. So my main like healing modality is with the records. And so like getting clear on people's purpose and like, maybe like Kim comes to me and she's like, you know what, Rachel, I'm having this like the sludge energy feeling, like what's going on. So we can open up the records, we can tap in, we'll pull in her angels, we'll pull in her masters, guides, and teachers, and be like, okay, well, your solar plexus, maybe you need to get some more creativity or something like that. And I'm not speaking for Kim because we're not in her records, but I'm just
But maybe she
hypothesizing.
actually is.
Maybe I am. You never know. No, just kidding.
Wink, wink.
I'm a consent person. I'm a consent person. Always need consent. So in I've kind of meandered in my spiritual journey, and it's interesting. I think him and I kind of had this conversation before when she was on my show about like from where we started and where we are now is definitely not where we thought we would be. And I think for your listeners, and I don't know why I'm going off on this tangent, but I want to. I want people just when they're going on a spiritual journey and they're looking for things that's different spiritual modalities. Like Kim and I both are, IET instructors and things like that. And she does Reiki and I'm a crystal healer and blah, blah, blah. Like we have a lot of certifications, but really find what lights you up. And maybe it's something completely different, like quantum healing, or maybe it's crystals, or maybe it's this. And I think like just be open for the journey. Because what originally started, and this is funny because we kind of touched on this when we were chatting it before, was what really attracted me to the spiritual realm was Sylvia Brown. I loved her on Montel Williams. Like I just she's like, oh honey, like with her nails and her voice. Oh, I'm a smoker for 400 years. Like I don't know. I vibed with her. Like I think I was 15 and I was like, I want to be a psychic. So it was just like I really wanted to do that. So it's been a journey though. Like I had to like work on my limiting beliefs, work on my mindset, work on my energy, work on and healing in your spiritual journey is ever evolving and it doesn't end. Just because we can do these amazing healing modalities doesn't mean that we don't have to work on ourselves on a daily basis. Doesn't mean that we don't have to be open to divine and guidance. It's not like we're one and done.
Yes.
So yeah, I think that's about it. I don't know. I can keep talking. I'm a yammerer. I'm a yapper.
Which is why we talked for like 40.
It's like, guys, if you were just in our coffee talk before,
I
that sounds
opened, I was like,
fun.
we need to hit record and like
I'm
share.
like, no, let's talk about how. No, just kidding. Just kidding. Just kidding. But be open to the journey and like being able to meet people like I'm so excited that like Kim's in my life now. Like, do you know what I mean? And she's right. Like I do feel like we have a great connection and maybe it's a past life something or maybe we were sisters and I don't know. But it feels I feel great that we can be open enough with each other to be like, you know what? I vibe with you, girlfriend.
Yes. Because I feel like that's really hard nowadays to find
It
people
is.
that can be like open, like it's a vulnerable thing for me to be like, hey, guess what? Rachel's my new best friend because she might be thinking, the hell I'm not. Like, I am not that lady's new best friend. She is out of her delusional mind.
That's so true.
But I'll let
Yes.
her think that. And you we said that we were going to meet up this summer and we exchanged cell phone numbers, but like when
I
Rachel,
already texted you. Be quiet.
but that's what happens when we do things like that. We get into this, especially with
Yes.
trauma in our past where we didn't
Yes.
feel like we weren't enough or we weren't
Yes.
appreciated or there was something
Yes.
we were inherently defective, there was something wrong with us. It's really hard to be vulnerable and put yourself
Yeah.
out
I think
to
especially for women, like we're adult women who, we're not like in college, like we have families, we have careers, like where we're at in our life. It's not like we're out seeking new social connections. It's not like I'm in the bar trying to pick up women. Like I want to be my friend. Like it's not easy to make connections. And you mentioned this before when we were talking about like, is it because of the pandemic? And are people afraid to be open and have their hearts there and be like, hey, I see you, you see me, and it's okay. But you're right. It is a vulnerable space to be in. And then we'll have like the feeling of, oh, am I bothering her? Am I annoying her? Like, it's just, why do we do all this junk in our head?
I
Hmm.
don't know, but I think part of it too is social media. I think there's
Yes.
value in social media.
Yeah.
I also think it gives us this false sense of connection.
Mm.
And so
Yes.
like, oh, like I have 9,000 followers on social media.
Yeah.
Everybody hates me. But then when you have like 200 followers on social media, you're like, oh, everybody hates me and there's something wrong with me. And why don't I have more followers? And oh, this is awful. And so I think that's the part of it too, is that we get
Yeah.
a false sense of connection from social media.
You just reminded me of this point. And my son, my younger son, that I was talking to you about, I was sulking. This is probably like a year ago. And I was like, I only have like 1,000 followers on YouTube. And he's like, Mom, I want you to envision it like this. Imagine 1,000 people in the room. Like, how many people is that? That's a lot of people in a room. I'm grateful for one follower. I'm grateful for, but you're right. It gives you a false sense of I'm popular. Like, but you're right. But you have to keep those human connections. Like, it's going to be, you have to be able to disassociate yourself from the glassy filters of this beautiful Instagram life. Like, it's not reality. That's not real. Like,
Yeah.
how many times are you watching like a cooking video and you're like, oh man, I wish I had a kitchen like that? Like, it's not real. And then I'm like, and then I go down a rabbit hole. I'm like, how do you have the money to do that? How do you have the money to have that cookware? How do you have
And who does your social, like who films for you? Do you like really know how to set up a tripod and like
yes?
that because it looks like a freaking professional film crew is in there. And
I
gosh, when I
do
try to
edit.
talk in my kitchen, I look like an amateur. Like,
It's so true. It's like, gosh, they come out and you're like, wow, this is really good. Good on you. Good on you guys. You guys are amazing. But it's
yes.
also not real. It's not reality. It's not real.
Well, maybe, no, it's not because actually there was just so we love Gordon Ramsay, my husband and I, and we
So
just
do we.
really we were just watching Kitchen Nightmares. And did you see the episode with the lady down in
No.
um I don't remember if it was Mississippi, I forget where she was,
Yeah.
but she had a huge social media following
Yeah.
and had got her a air fryer with her name on it, got cookware with her name on it, had spices like
And had kitchen nightmares there.
and her restaurant, she was so focused on like being a celebrity. She had her food
Wow.
displayed in the restaurant and wasn't focusing on what really mattered in the
Yeah.
self because
Right.
she was a celebrity because she had a huge social media following. But the food that she was putting out from the kitchen was canned food and was salty. And she thought she
Ew.
dumped her seasoning on top of
Yeah.
it. That made it. And she was like having
Ew.
people selfie with her in her restaurant and things like
It's
that.
like
Yeah. And
gross.
Gordon was like, are you using me for your social media following? And she was like, no. And she got kind of defensive. And he was like, well, I'm leaving. I'm done. He was like, you're either going to be real and cut the shit
I love
and
that.
focus on
Yeah.
running a restaurant and not being a celebrity. He was like, because he was flat out honest with her. He was like, I struggled in my business for 10 years before I even had a little bit of success. And
Right, right,
that came from social media. That success came from busting my bum bum in the kitchen,
right,
restaurants, learning from the best of the best.
right, right,
He was like, it wasn't until like probably, I don't know, he didn't really say, but probably like 20 years later did Gordon Ramsay
right,
celebrity from his
right.
efforts. So
He's
that
worked
was,
hard. He's
yeah,
worked, you can tell he's worked hard and has a passion for what he cooks and what he puts out. And he takes pleasure in that.
yes. And so that was kind of like the wake up call for her. And so she
Wow.
turned it around and she got it together. And
Right.
she like let go of the celebrity-ness of it. But it's just hard because
Yeah.
that validation from somewhere, from someone that's
Right. It's like that pat on the back. Like, I see you.
yes.
But that comes from within. Like,
Yes.
ultimately, our happiness, and I think this is the other thing we lose sight of, is that our happiness, our self-worth, like, it comes from within. It comes from our connection to our divine nature. It comes from, it's like I can't rely on, getting my love tank, for my partner. Like, it's not his responsibility to make me feel a certain type of way. Like, we need to be in a loving relationship and treat each other well, and have that kind of moments together, which is amazing. But ultimately, I can't be waiting by the door like, honey, like, like, and then we lose that. It's like we expect all these external validation factors, and really it comes from within.
Yes. But and I don't know if this is true for you, but before I started my spiritual healing journey,
Yeah.
I was very much that external validation seeker. I need
Yeah.
someone to be like, oh my God, Kim, you're amazing. Oh my God, whatever. And so that was like part of the reason I burned out at my teaching career because there really wasn't anyone there saying, like, you're an amazing teacher. Like, I hadn't been nominated
Right.
for teacher of the year, like all this crazy stuff. So then I was like, man, nobody gives a shit about me. Like, and it was stressful. And so like
Yeah.
cleaning and things like that. But because I was looking for that external validation, I couldn't step back and validate myself. Like, him, look at the growth that your students have had this year.
Right.
In is, beginning of kindergarten, not knowing any letters, like not knowing how to write their names, not knowing that a sentence starts with a capital letter and ends with a period or an exclamation point or whatever.
Yeah.
Look, at the end of kindergarten, they know that they're doing basic math, they're doing basic addition. I couldn't do the internal validation for myself. I wanted someone so badly to say,
Right.
great job, Kim.
I will say that it definitely has been a learning experience, and it's still probably even today that I have to remind myself, Rachel, it's okay. Like, get it from within. So, I mean, we kind of grew up in a very chaotic family setting. So it's definitely like, and I had to rely on myself, and I was very, very independent from a very young age. So it was kind of like I've sometimes we're like, you're twins, and I'm like, it's here. But so it's like I have to remind myself to have those connections, but also I have to make sure that I have my connection to self. But
Yes.
it is a gentle reminder, because I can think about myself at work in my work mode and be like, why didn't they say anything good job there? But then I'm like, Rachel, you rock that. Like, it's like, and then like, job. Like, it's okay. I'll give myself a cookie.
Yes.
Oh wait, I quit eating sweets. I'll give myself a star.
Yes. I'm only allowing myself to eat sweet treats on the night of the full moon.
Go you. That's amazing. See, my problem is, it is so stupid, is that once I start eating sweets, I can't stop. So then I'll be like, every night, you want cookies? Yes, I do. It's a treat. So no, as soon as I don't have that, but I have French fries. So I'm not gonna lie, I still eat French fries, but I
Okay.
don't eat sweets.
Yeah.
I'll
So
get back to me in a month. And they'll be like, yeah, cake. Like,
it was at the point where I did a really great job with it in 2023. So
yeah.
I said I was like 8:30 in the morning and I was like, Oreo cookies? Yeah.
Yes. Sign me up.
Hell yes. Like, and a dessert at lunch, packing snacks like candy in my lunch for work, and then having sweets at night before bed. Like, yes, yes, and yes.
Same. Same. It would be like, it's almost like that emotion, and it goes back to like emotional regulation and that kind of things. And it's like, do I get satisfaction from eating this? Temporarily? So
Yes.
what do I need to do to get rid of this feeling inside of me that I'm feeling stressed overwhelmed or whatever, that I normally turn to sweets. And what I've started to do is I try to turn to, like, maybe I'll have a conversation with someone and be like, I'm having a tough day. Like today it sucked balls,
Yeah.
And so like I'm gonna reach out to Kim and be like, tell me a joke. Like, so I've been trying to like, find ways to emotionally regulate myself that's not, and it's hard. And I'm not, it's hard. And I text my sister all the time, like, how do we develop healthy habits? I feel like I'm letting out all my secrets. So like, but I will say that for this year, because I feel like this energy is chaotic in
Yeah.
the universe and around us. So it's really important for us as spiritual healers and as people doing podcasts and things of that nature and being just of our families and being wives and mothers and, coworkers and employers and, whatever. It's
Yeah.
important for us to remain kind of clear and grounded. So it's like, so I've been very mindful of, okay, what are the healthy habits that I really need to hone in on? So like every day when I come home and if I'm not recording, like it's so silly. I like wash my face, I brush my teeth, I floss my teeth, I floss, I brush, I apply my lotions, and I'm lazy at nighttime. Like when it's sleepy time, I'm like, yeah, I don't want to do that. But you know what I mean? But I do that every day. But it's like that good like self-care tick. And then
Yeah.
I go for walks with my son, and I've been writing morning pages to really get out my stream of consciousness. And I write dumb stuff, like, but it gets me from that analytical, judgmental mind to that creative mind of now I can be open. Do you know what I mean? And it's a daily journey, daily journey. I'm focused. Yeah. Sorry, I really went off there. I apologize. Sorry,
Fine.
everyone.
All good stuff. Um, but I had to put myself in check because I was like, oh, I recognize that this is way too many sweet treats. So I
Yes,
told myself I had to go 30 days with no sweet treats. And then
I
after
love
that,
that.
the night of the full moon. Well, there was a full moon before my 30 days was done. And I was like, nope,
Good for you.
can't do it. And
Good for
I
you.
attribute EFT tapping to it a little bit because I tapped
I
um,
love that.
my tapping certification around that particular time we were
Yeah.
on cravings,
Ooh,
craving of chocolate one time, and then I really didn't crave it.
good for you.
So it was easy for me to be like, oh, full moon, nope, no 30 days, keep moving.
Yeah.
By the time the next full moon had come through, it was like I think I had gone like 48 days with no sweet treats.
Wow.
So I did a really good job in 2023 of not having sweet treats unless it was
Yeah.
full moon. My birthday was the exception, and vacation in the Bahamas was
Of
the exception.
course. Of course.
Other than that, oh, and then Thanksgiving with pumpkin pie, and then Christmas with Christmas cookies. But like those were like the exceptions to the rules. And then
Right.
four started chaotic and ended chaotic. So the sweet treat rule went out the window. So this year I was like, I got to get back on it. So
Yeah.
treats unless it's the night of the full moon. And I did not do a 30-day detox this time. I was like, I just need to get in it. And like, if a full moon comes, I'm going to treat myself.
But like good for you though for recognizing like I need to like kind of put myself in check. But you gave yourself like you didn't make it so rigid to where it would break. Because sometimes when we're like, I'm gonna lose 100 pounds, it's like we're too like, I'm gonna be a vegan, I'm gonna walk that 5,000 miles, I'm gonna
Yep.
drink 400 liters of water, and then it's not attainable. But what you did is a sustainable goal of something that's reasonable, that once every 28 days you can have a sweet treat, or however, when the full moon is. Like, I love that you did that. And that, but you're also gentle on yourself, that you're like, okay, but I'm still gonna have sweets on my birthday, I'm still gonna have sweets on Christmas, Easter, whatever. Like, good for you. And it makes me kind of think like, okay, well, maybe I should do something like that too, and give myself permission to not be so rigid.
Yeah.
I like that. That's
Yeah.
good.
Well,
You're
plus,
good.
what can I say? But plus two, I feel like growing up, I sometimes deprived myself of things
Mm,
because of that feeling of not being worthy enough. And then
mm,
especially in the abusive relationship with high school boyfriend. And then after that relationship too, I still had some issues around worthiness. And I felt like
yes.
I didn't allow myself to have things because I wasn't deserving of them. And so
Yes.
like, going on the spiritual journey, you do see that like things happen and you
Mm,
attach meanings to them that aren't necessarily true, with
yeah.
100% truth. They have snippets of truth. And so
Right.
I was like, you know what, Kim, you depriving yourself is not okay either. That's not nice.
Right. Right.
It's okay to be nice to yourself and have parameters and
Right.
um, gentleness rather than
Right.
being rigid and strict and having self, deprivation, because
Right.
then I don't want to get to the point where it's like, oh, I could have allowed myself, but I didn't. And why didn't
Right.
self can? Because you also thought you weren't deserving of it. Like it's kind of like that. It's like a little cycle, like
Yes. It's
not
like,
deserving of it, so you can't have it, but you want to be deserving of it, so you want to give it.
right.
So
So
it's like
true.
it can be a nasty spiral.
But it's a good, like, it's a good, because you're like, I know you've talked about like the body keeps a score, and then it's like, well, why is it that I feel like I can't do this? Am I depriving myself because of worthy? Like, it's digging in and getting to that additional layer where the healing is never done, but it's getting down to a deeper layer of what's going on. And as you're talking, it's like, oh, maybe that's something I need to look at. Like, worthiness. That's a big one. That's a big one for everyone, probably. They
Yeah.
probably have some fraction of there's some worthiness issues going on. Because I'm thinking about, you brought up snacks and when you're younger. And I remember I'm from Georgia originally. And when my dad got remarried, she had 5 kids and my dad had 4 kids. So there was 9 of us together in a house. And
Wow.
my dad used to lock the door and keep his snacks hidden. So then Rachel, because she's a Georgia girl, would climb out the second floor window and climb in his window and get those snacks. But it's like, one, I learned from that. One, I was a thief. And two, I had a worthiness issue. But then later he gave me permission to break in.
3, you were just really freaking resourceful, and you weren't
Listen,
taking.
I told you guys I was independent. All right. I did what I needed to do. She's like, maybe I don't want to be your friend.
I guess I do. I do.
Yeah. I'm like sharing all my secrets. I love
But
it. But it's hard. Like it's good, but I love that you're bringing this up because it's making me think about it. And then it's like, oh, this would be good to like journal on this later, you
yeah.
know?
So, so I just had this conversation with
Oh, yeah,
someone else
sure.
right before our call about have, do, be, and be, do, have.
Oh,
Yes.
I'm
So,
like saying in my head again. Okay.
so oftentimes, so like we'll just use the example of like business success. Like I have
Yeah.
for social media. Here, we'll go back to
Okay.
our
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
I have to have 9,000 followers,
Right.
do things that are social, because then I'll be liked.
Oh,
So instead of it's I can be liked and do things that are social and have 9,000. Like, do you see the difference?
yes. I like that. Give me another example,
Here we
please.
go. We'll use a business example. So
Okay.
um, or I could use like my teaching career. So like if it was
Okay.
have to have students that are learning and doing their work so that I can be a good teacher.
Yeah.
But the other way is like I'll be a good teacher and do things with my students to have them learn.
Oh, I
So
like that.
so you're taking away, so like you're not allowing yourself to have sweets. So it's like I have to have no sweets
Right.
to do healthy habits to be a healthy
Yeah.
person or to have boundaries or limits or whatever.
I'm
Um,
trying to lose weight. All right. I've lost 11 pounds. Okay.
so there you go. So I have to keep myself from eating sweets
Right.
to lose weight so that I
Right.
can be
The
skinny.
best.
I don't know, what is your goal?
I mean, honestly, I want to be a healthy, strong version of myself. That's really my goal. Like, it's not to be like, I don't want to be like, it's just, I want to be stronger and I want to be healthier.
Yes. So, okay. So have, do, be. So I have to be stronger and healthier and do good health habits
Yeah.
to be whatever.
Yeah.
So do be. Um, but the other way around is I can be healthy and do healthy things while still having treats.
Yes. It feels lighter. I like
And
that.
it's not as constrictive. It gives you grace.
Right.
Because well, first of all, we're not intended to be human doings. We're intended to be human beings.
Right. 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 Good
And
point.
so we put all this emphasis on the doing part, like
Mm,
being the healthy eating. It becomes like an absolute and it doesn't allow
right.
gray. So then
Right.
you slip up and have the Reese's peanut butter cup or whatever your guilty pleasure is, and chocolate milkshake, I don't know. Um,
Cookies.
Cookies. Okay, so you're like my husband. We call him the cookie monster. Like if there are
Love.
cookies in the house, Everybody's like, get your own hoard of cookies because if you don't, then you'll get none.
They're gone.
Yeah.
No, I love cookies. Mm.
Yeah.
They're gonna. I'm like,
So I know
love 'em.
if I know your birthday, I know what I'm getting you for your birthday.
Not cookies. August 5th.
Okay, done.
I love it. So funny.
Um, but it doesn't give you it puts so much pressure on yourself. And so then
Right.
when you have that moment of slip up or you think like, oh, okay, it's my birthday and I want to treat myself to a cookie,
Right. Right.
it instills that feeling of guilt because you've convinced yourself that you've done something wrong because it doesn't align with the have do be.
You're right. Because as you're saying that, I was like, oh, am I going to slide into shame because I do this? You're right. That's a really good point.
Yeah.
I like that.
So if you can focus more on being the healthy
Right.
version of you, then you can do things that will foster that and you can have an occasional treat. So
I
that's why
like,
night of the full moon, it gives me the option.
right. Right.
And
I
honestly,
like that.
point where you don't even want them. Like I'm indifferent about sweet treats. Like we had Girl Scout cookies, Thin Mints and the tagalongs.
Thin
I
mints are my favorite.
same. I saved one Thin Mint and one tagalong for the night of the full moon. And honestly, when I ate it, I was like, this doesn't even taste that good.
I love that. I love that. I will say that I actually have Thin Mints right now in my cupboard, and I'm like, okay, I'm good.
Yeah.
Like I just don't like. I don't know. Like it's weird. Something shifted inside of me that I'm like, I'm okay. I'm
Yeah.
good.
Your body like actually craves the sugar. So when you stop eating it, because when I did it for the first time in 2023, my tongue felt funny.
Wow.
It was like almost like my tongue was detox.
Detoxing. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
It was
love that.
so don't be
Oh.
so hard on yourself.
No, no, and to be honest, like I don't feel like I'm so hard on myself, to be honest. Like I would tell you, like Rachel, you're so strict, but I'm really not. But it's interesting as you say that because it's almost like a lot of things in my diet are like shifting away. And I don't know if it's because of the energy of what's going on or what it is, but things that I used to find very pleasurable, now I'm just like, yeah, I'm good. Like
Yeah.
it's interesting. I wonder how we're gonna get together and we're gonna record another show in like 6 months. You come back on my show and we'll be like, let's talk about our triggers and our emotional habits. Like,
Yeah.
I'd be curious to see like what shifted. I'm eating more vegetables and fruit.
Right. So now I have the fur crew coming in, and I don't know why. They just randomly came in and were like, oh, something exciting is going on here, guys.
They're like, you're talking about energy and I'm here. Okay.
They're like, and food. And they're like, oh, lady, it's our dinner
We,
time.
oh, you probably got to go soon because you're probably talking about Girl Scout cookies. Hello. Not that
So
they can eat them, but still.
right. So the one dog is like the food. She's like the Hooverina. She
Oh, I
hoovers
love
all up.
that.
The other one, I have to like force him to. I'm like, Franklin, here's your food. You can eat. Go ahead, bud. Go ahead. You can eat.
Your dog's name is Franklin. My cat's name is Frank the Tank, and we call him Franklin.
You really?
I swear to God.
My dog is named after the 14th president of the United States.
That's so funny. We're not that cool. All right.
But only because he's named after my husband's law school. So my husband went to Franklin Pierce Law Center because we lived in New Hampshire for 5.5 years.
I
And
love that.
like we love New Hampshire. So my older daughter was born there. The younger daughter was born in Delaware, but we love, love, love New
I
Hampshire.
love that.
So he's Franklin after Franklin Pierce, the president. We thought about naming him Moose, like,
Oh, I like Moose.
but I couldn't imagine like opening the sliding door and calling him
Come here, Moose.
Come here, Moose. And so he's definitely a Franklin. Everyone thinks he's named after Franklin the turtle, but he's not named after Franklin the turtle.
No, we for Franklin, we call him our secret mob boss, and we feel like he walks down the hallway doing this because
Oh,
he's still like
yeah. It's
so
funny.
funny.
And Franklin is like the biggest goofball ever. So there's
I
like
love that.
which about him, like no presidential qualities.
He's not regal, all right?
And then Winnie, she's Winnie after Winnipesaukee, like Winnipesaukee. So we call her Winnie.
I love that.
And
I love
everybody
that.
thinks the two. And I'm like, no, it's a lake. And they're like, huh? What?
No, I love that. I love that. We have our dog's name is Gatsby. So all of our animals came like we adopted them and they came with names. The only
Okay.
one we changed was Frank because I think what was he was Rio. And
Okay.
then somehow we got on Frank the Tank. I don't know we got on that, but now I call him Franklin.
Yeah.
So
Will Ferrell, hello, Frank the Tank.
hello.
That's where it's from in old school. He's like Frank the Tank, running down the main street naked, which no
Oh,
one
there you go. Hello, see him smart ear. I love that. I
sure
love it.
that's where Frank the Tank is from. So
I love
yeah,
that.
Sam the cat. Well, so we changed both animals' names. So Franklin was originally Douglas, but I was
Wow.
doesn't look like a Douglas, and he only had
Yeah.
for like 2 weeks. So I was like, Douglas, it is
Oh
now.
yeah. No, no. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And when he was a princess, but I think that well, there was I think she had trauma around that name from being in the
Oh
show.
wow.
Like, and she doesn't even look like a princess. She looks like a Winnie. But the poor cat kept his name. His name is Sam, and they named him Sam at the rescue because they couldn't tell if he was a boy or a girl.
I
So,
love that.
so
I
they
love
gave him the
that.
gender neutral name, which is Sam. And
I
so
love
he
that.
just kept it because he actually comes when you call him. If you say Sam, here's Sam, he'll come.
So does so my the two cats are my younger sons and they're obsessed with him.
Oh,
Like
really?
if he it's guys they love each other dearly, which is amazing. I love it. But he'll be like, Simba, come here, Simba. And they just come running,
Yeah.
Frank running. And then we have a door. There's one room that his dad doesn't want the cats in because they'll scratch, the furniture and whatnot. So, and then they'll just stare at home at the window.
Uh-huh.
And I'm like, can we does he need some anxiety medication? He's having separation anxiety from you. It'll be like 5 minutes. I'm
Yes.
like, get your cat.
Like, get him under control.
We get him under control. But it's so sweet because it's so like if you go in his room, like one's here on his head and one's here in his nook, and it's just like they just have such a loving bond. I just think it's so sweet that he can be like because some kids aren't good with animals, and then but I'm grateful that he's good with his cats. I
Yeah.
am. I'm so grateful. Off topic again.
It's okay. It's okay. Because I started it because I had the fur tourage come parading in.
Entourage.
So,
Entourage.
except for the cat, he's probably upstairs in the younger daughter's bedroom waiting to be brushed because he actually
Yeah,
thinks
hello.
I'm not her. So he's like, little girl, let's go. Where's the brush? Or he's nudging my husband because he loves my husband to pieces.
I love that so much. Oh, that's so
So,
sweet. That's so
yeah.
sweet. I love it. I love it. What
So,
else do you want to talk about?
all right. So
This is
if
just serious business.
I know,
Yes.
so back to being
Yes,
all
ma'am.
now. So we've talked about a lot of things, but
Yes.
so what, and this is leading to the conclusion. So what
Sure.
you to start your spiritual journey in the first place, if you don't mind?
So, no, not at all. So, I will say that again, I know I brought this up. We had a very I guess it was like a toxic childhood, so to say, and I had a lot of abandonment like and to be very personal, my mom has multiple personalities and she was put in a mental health institution for when I was 5.
Wow.
And then we moved into my dad and then we had to be adopted. Like we had a lot of like this meandering journey of like what is this life? Like I mean, it wasn't like the way that I look at my childhood now, I'm like I have great memories in my childhood and then I have some not so great, which is okay. But then when I was 15, we moved from Georgia to Ohio and I had this moment in my life where I moved with my dad because he was divorcing my first stepmom and he was getting remarried and whatnot. And I moved with him with my sister. And my sister chose to move back down to Georgia. And it was just me and my dad, which is fine. And I was 15. But my dad met these people, the Burks. They're not listening. But so I met these people, this man and this woman, he's a psychiatrist and she raises parrots, like no joke. And I felt inclined to them and be like, can I move in with you? Because my dad was moving to Canada and I asked if I could move in with them. And what was interesting about moving in with them was one, they were very like open spiritually, more so like I was raised Baptist. We were like we went to church like 3 times a week and all of that stuff, and everything was evil. And so it was a very different childhood to where I was. And she would bring tarot readers to the house, and we would go to a spiritualist church, and it would be like, you get divine messages, but they come to, and I still remember this. I was 15. You get divine messages, and they'll come to you in a spiral. So you have to interpret them. I was like, tell me more. And then, like, you'd be watching Montel Williams. And I was so fascinated by that. And I just really wanted to, like, it was like, but I felt like I belong somewhere, you know, like I really was fascinated by that and that spiritual realm and, you know, having a tarot reading and having like essential oils and being more creative and being in touch with like learning about witchcraft and, you know, things like that. So I'm so grateful that I had guardians that were open to me exploring this journey, you know, and I lived with them for a couple years and then I moved to Missouri and then, you know, so, but my life, but then that always stuck with me. And it's very interesting because I'm the only one in my family who's very spiritual, like who's very connected to the angels, connected with energy healing, connected with this. So, but I feel it's such a calling in my life that I'm okay with that, even though, like, I'm isolated in that. They don't, I mean, someone would do judge me, whatever. I don't care. But that's what started my journey. Like it was like I grew up in this kind of very odd environment. And then took myself, I was keen enough, which maybe was my intuitive hits. Maybe it was my intuition driving me because I'm somebody who likes to jump in. If I get that feeling of I need to do it, I'll do it. Like, don't hold me back. I'll jump. So, and I was like, can I live with you? Like, you know, and it was a great moment in my life. Like I went, my whole education changed. I went from no judgment to public school or private school, but in Georgia, I was on high honors and this and that in public school. And then I transferred to Notre Dame Academy in Toledo, Ohio. And I was like, I am dumb. Like it was just like, you know, and I had to like elevate myself up and really like be more open to learning. I'm dead serious. They're like, they would be like, so where they're like, you're from Georgia. Do you have cars down there? Like, you know, and they'd be like, oh, say this, Monroe, because I had a really heavy Southern accent, but I don't anymore. But it was just funny. Like, and I was like, wow, I'm not like I went to school with Katie Holmes. Like, you know what I mean? Like it was an elevated caliber of people that, you know, I went to school with. And it was different. And it just showed me a whole different side of life too. And it almost goes to like,
And
you can pull in that reality that you're desiring.
I love that you're just like, yeah, and I went to school with Katie Holmes, you know, like, and just, yeah, everybody
No,
goes to school with Katie Holmes.
I
No.
was dumb and that wasn't. Well, I mean, I'm not trying to like, no, but do you know what I mean? Like it was just like a different life that I'm gonna call it now. I manifested that. Like my life was this, and then I had a dream in mind. I called it to me. I asked for it, and then it opened me up. And it's been a journey that I'm still traveling to this day. Like I'm still like, I want to try this. I want to do this. I want to go here. I want to do this. And I love the fact that there's still things that sparks excitement. I can't even tell you how many spiritual books I bought in the past month. It's a problem. I'm a collector. Anyway, that started my journey. Yeah. It's a problem. I might need to like get like I may need to go to Books Anonymous. I don't know. So let's start a book club is what we're saying.
Yes, yes, okay, done. Well, yes,
Done.
you, and we're gonna pick a book, and it's gonna be our book club.
Yes. Yes. We're gonna do the artist way.
Yes, I have it right on my shelf in my woo room.
Yeah, done.
Done.
Okay,
Okay.
go ahead. What else would you like to say to me? I meandered there for a bit.
Fine. When people are on the journey, sometimes it can feel
Yeah.
like you're kind of like, you know, learning all of this stuff and you
Yes.
feel like kind of spastic or
Yes.
feel like defeated and like things will never
Yeah.
change. So
Yeah.
what's the one thing that you feel is helpful that you do almost on a daily basis to help you stay focused and
Yes.
rooted and like not feeling like you're woo?
So it's funny because I know we're talking about grounding, but as you're saying that, I'm gonna say what I do daily is I do my blah, 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 blah. I go to gratitude.
Yeah.
I'm very firm on I do feel like you need to be grounded and you need to be centered and all of that stuff 100%. But you said that my mind went off here and I'm very much like when I get up in the morning, I'm like, I'm grateful for the sun. I'm grateful for the long, you know, I'm very much shifted into an attitude of gratitude because I do believe that we need to be conscious of raising our vibration. We need to be love or above and be grateful for our life and grateful for the things that, you know, are happening. And then I just feel like we have unlimited possibilities. So in the morning, during the day, I'll shift off my energy, shake it out, try to move And then before I even, when I go to sleep, like I'm praying, God's angel universe, thank you so much for this day. Like tonight, I'll be like, I'm so grateful I connected with Kim today. That was amazing conversation. Like, I can feel the energy like right now coming in. Like you feel it, because energy here. So like for me, my primary sense is feeling. So like I'm just so like, yeah, I just like, and then when I'm going into work, because sometimes work can be, work, and I'll look outside. I'm like, wow, what a beautiful sunrise. I say that probably almost every morning. Thank you for the trees. Thank you for this. I love this, just because
Yeah.
that attitude of gratitude, that's something I do every single day without fail. I know I need to do better on being grounded every day, because we really need to get into the earth,
Yeah.
but attitude of gratitude every day.
But I think when you have that gratitude, it grounds you.
I agree. I
Grounds you
agree.
in the present moment.
Yeah.
Takes you out of that, like, the negative thought spiral that we get stuck in
Yes.
sometimes, or this
Yes.
feeling of lack.
Yes.
It's easy to do, especially when you're looking around and you perceive that other people have more than you or better than you,
Yes.
or something like that. So the gratitude was one of the very first things that I turned to in my own spiritual healing
Love
journey,
that.
was gratitude.
Yeah.
In addition to yoga and meditation, but it was gratitude.
I
And
love that.
I still have gratitude journals, which I'm probably like, can get rid of them. But
No,
like,
you
just
look back.
like literally from 2016, like I am grateful for, because every day I would write down
Yes.
three, five
Yes.
things that I was grateful
Yes.
for. And there's even the lady who did the movie The Secret.
Yep.
She has the book on gratitude. I think it's
I
called.
know she does. She
Yes, and
does. I think, is it the magic?
I think it is.
Yes. Yes, I will say, and she tells you, like, she'll tell you, like, be grateful for your lungs, be grateful for being able to walk, be grateful for, and it kind of like helps you really like open up your mind to being grateful for more things
Yeah.
that you don't realize. That's a good book too.
Yeah, it's on my shelf. Maybe that's our next one after Artist Way.
I have it too, so it's okay. You can read whatever you want. I have in my drawer. I have a book. I have a filing cabinet over here. It's all full of journals, so it's okay. I'll pull it out.
Okay, deal.
I love it. I'm so happy and grateful for my journals.
Yes, yes. I
I
love
have my journals right here. Like, hello. Like, I love it.
So that's another thing, perhaps, that we could do a whole nother episode on is journals.
Yes, like honestly, and like, but also how important journaling is.
Yes.
And you
Although I
don't have to.
will say that there was a point in time where journaling was actually probably not the healthiest thing for me, because I was obsessed. Like I would like literally like sit there and pour,
Oh yeah, yeah.
like I would get so stuck in like dumping everything into this journal. And then I would go back like the next day and like dump pretty much everything the same, but then I would reread the day before and it would make me upset. So it was like it was not necessarily a starving point. I was like almost addicted to journaling, because
That makes sense. Yeah.
like give myself some boundaries with I couldn't have
I
you
like that.
be.
Sometimes I get a little too obsessive about things, and then I have to like just stop, dumbass.
I had to be do have and not have to be with
There
journaling.
you go. You taught me again. I love it. I love it.
Oh my gosh. This is fun. Rachel, we're gonna end it here, because I feel
Yes.
like your
Thank you.
son is waiting for your evening walk.
Yes, I know. He's like,
Uh-huh. And my dog, Winnie, if she didn't have her cone on, she would literally legit be eating her leg off, because
oh
she's
my God, I'm so sorry. Go eat.
no, it's fine. It's fine. She's funny. At 4:30, she starts nudging with her nose for her dinner. And it's like, when your dinner isn't until 5:30, sweet pea, you have
Calm
to
down.
calm down.
Calm
You're not
down.
like you've not known hungry in the 10 years that we've had you. So
It's okay.
okay. Like you can stop running the pattern of starvation, because you're not starving.
You see my look. I was like, I was afraid someone was opening my door. They're like,
So, oh my gosh, this has been fun. Rachel and I are definitely going to do another
yes,
episode. So stay tuned
yes,
for that. And
absolutely.
we'll see you next week.
Oh my gosh. Thank you so much. I appreciate you having me on. Thank you.
Thanks, Rachel. Bye.